Hello everybody, I'm Ikkcicle and today I found an amazing mod. It's called Yuushya Townscape and it's absolutely phenomenal. The mod basically offers you thousands of different block choices to make whatever kind of building you want, within an Asian style theme of course. Here are some examples that I've found and it's amazing. I don't think that the Minecraft community has fully embraced this mod, but it is really good. Installing it is a little tricky, but there's a decent guide on how to install it on the Yuushya website, and with CurseForge you can download it painlessly and free. There's a foliage add-on for trees, and there's something called the Yuushya release, which offers a unique user interface, but I'm just going to go with the in-game models. Once you've installed it, you can see so many different choices for different block types. There's catering, there's electricals, there's extra blocks and extra shapes that give you all kinds of different patterns. Here you can see a horizontal column template and you can choose what colours you want for that and what material. There's all kind of lighting including oriental lamps and street lights. There's some facilities including a basketball hoop and all kinds of weird stuff that you can use. There's a whole pipe thing you can do, and furniture's amazing as well. If you see the flashing ones, you can choose your own colours for that. The tall doors are absolutely phenomenal, and they've added a whole series of new paintings. There's a sink and a toilet which really help, and the Yuushya fabrics are really good. You can have round carpets, and there's a whole series of new bed designs. There's a whole load of wood choices, and there's a bunch of living beings that you can add to the world, including new plants and new trees. The structure generators offer prefabs. You can plop a whole apartment building down if you want to. I used that to try and investigate how Yuushya works. There's some traffic choices and you can put cars and trucks down, that's something I've never seen. Road markings as well, and a whole series of customizable windows. On the final tab you can see the Yuushya store. You can have your own grocery store if you want to. All kinds of different stuff you can use, including stone blocks for the roads and the walls, and street signs and some graffiti. I think is really good. Some of these you can put on the ground. Here there's a tab called Yuushya Modeling. Now some of these are very important. This tool is very important. It's the modeling tool. And you also need some of these gourds. The green gourd can help you turn a block into an entity. And that basically means you can rotate and move that block wherever you want. So I've took myself a pressure cooker and I'm going to show you exactly how to change it. First you need to use the green gourd, which allows you to turn it into an entity. And then you need the GUI tool in order to rotate it and reposition it. You can also resize an object and change the brightness on it too if you want to. So enough of the large introduction, I'm going to start building a mini street. I want to have as much stuff as I can crammed into this street. It's going to look like a Far East Japanese style street with lots going on. I'll put some simple road markings on each side of the road to make sure it looks like a real road. And a yellow line in the middle with a nice taxi over there. After that's finished, I'll build a little space to put a food truck. This is a food truck prefab, and it's pretty good, but I will remove it eventually because it's not mine. I don't feel like I've built this myself. Now this street is not exactly the wealthiest street in the world. It's a sort of middle to low income community. So I'm going to build a rundown building right in the center. People are in because I'm going to add a kitchen in a minute, but you can't access this building. So once I've got the foundations, a trash can and a fire hydrant, I'm going to put some barbed wire on the walls. With the GUI tool I can stick the barbed wire in the walls and rotate it so it looks a bit more natural. Finish the second floor with some of the Yuushya concrete blocks. I think they look really good even though it's a bit cheap looking. Add some nice windows and start working on the interior of this kitchen space. I'm going to add a pot, a stove, and then put a cooking hood over it. This one looks really good, and then I can stick a pipe on top as well and push that down. Finish the roof area, and that's my sort of indoor kitchen space. Add a nice cream rug and move it, and a plant, and then I can start looking at the rest of the kitchen. Add a microwave and rotate it a bit and put in a power jack. Outside I'll put an air conditioning unit and a sign. For the rest of the interior, it's basically a kitchen space and nothing else, so I'm going to hang some stuff up like roast duck and then put a simple light. That is my inaccessible kitchen space complete. I think it looks really good with all the little details inside. Now I'm going to add a little restaurant. It's not going to be the biggest restaurant in the world, but it's going to be of a decent size to accommodate at least 10 guests, I'd say. This looked a little small, so I want to make it a bit bigger. This restaurant's going to seat a few people. I'll put in 2 nice tall doors and a little stop sign. I don't want any more cars coming here. Inside, I'm going to add some dark oak planks as the flooring. The kitchen space is going to look a little different, so I'm going to mark that with some different coloured blocks. Then, once that's finished, I'll start working on the roof. A simple concrete roof. It's not expensive, it's just going to be dead simple, this. Add a simple lighting sign, I think that does say eat, and then work on the roof. For the roof, I'm going to use really nice Asian-style tiles. Put a mailbox and add some lights outside. Inside the restaurant, I'm going to work on the kitchen area first. I'll use some simple connected glass and oak panels. Inside the kitchen, I'm going to add a stove, a gas canister underneath, some pans on the wall and a snack. And then I'm going to add a little trolley in there so they can get the goods, and put all kinds of little weird details inside. Again, put the pipe in to make sure it looks decent, and add some order lists. Don't forget this is a busy restaurant. On the glass, I'll add some blinds. I don't want people seeing into the kitchen too much because it's dirty. And in the kitchen space, I'll add some grime to the walls. It's not a very expensive place, remember. Here, I'm going to reposition the sink. There's no water in it, but it doesn't matter. And then I'll put a nice grimy rug on the floor. Outside, I'll add a satellite dish because people want to watch TV while they're eating. Put a finished pizza on the counter and some watermelon on the trolley. That's gross. Then I'll hang a couple of plants and put some flies in the corner. Because again, this ain't the Ritz. My finished restaurant kitchen looks great. Now I'm going to add some tables and stools. Add some more stools for this table and a pizza that's crooked. Now I'm going to add a coconut drink. First I need to turn it into an entity, and then with the GUI tool I can move it anywhere I want. I can rotate it, that doesn't look right, and then rotate it like that, look, on the edge of the table. Here I'm going to add a little ashtray, put some more tables in. I want a nice full restaurant, very busy. Lots of people come here for their food, even though it's a bit dirty. Move the chairs a little bit, make sure everything's decent, put a TV up, and then I put some signs and posters in the corners and everything looks cool. Add a little chopstick there and put some food on the table because there's people in here eating. And then add a little pot and tissue box, and that is the interior of my restaurant complete. I think this looks really good. Outside the restaurant I can add some falling sakura, which is like a particle spawner. That gives the restaurant an extra bit of zing. Now it's time to remove that food wagon that I didn't really build, I just put it there. I don't think it looks quite right for the street. Here I'm going to build the foundation for a really big house. On top of that crummy house, I'm going to put an electrical signal box thing and then carry on with the foundations for this nice little house. One of the most interesting design features of Japanese houses is the use of space. They don't have much and is quite cramped in, and I want to go for that feel here as well. On the streets, I'm going to add some wires to connect the restaurant to the house and between this little alleyway. You can use the GUI tool to move the wires as well. I want them to be a bit more close together and jagged. Most telecom wires that I see are not exactly parallel to each other, so they need to be offset. Gonna put some graffiti on the wall and a little pipe too. That lump was a mistake, but it actually looks really good, so I'm going to add more. Now I'll finish building the structure of this house. It's quite tall, and put some brickwork in. It looks a bit weird being orange. I don't want that, I don't think. So once I've added the roof, I'm going to go around the whole thing and change it to broken grey bricks instead. I was going to change the colour of the tiles for the roof, but then I thought, wait a minute, the local council or government perhaps have some kind of planning rules, so all of the roofs or roofs have to be within a certain guideline, and I've tried to go for that here. I think that fits in with the aesthetic of the street. Again, this is a middle to low income area, so I've got to try and keep in with that theme. It's not going to be very expensive here. Down the alleyway, I'm going to build a very simple stairwell with some railings, make it look a little bit disheveled down here. Then I'm going to pop in a simple door. It's going to be a broken door, like an old iron one. And then pop some stickers up on the wall and add some water damage. Nobody really cares about this alleyway. It's functional, but hardly used. Back in the house, I'm going to make sure that space is at a premium. It's kind of a big house, but I'm going to make sure it has a lot of living space. And the first one is going to have some slippers and a nice cream rug at the entryway. Then I'm going to put a stair in and make this as the living space. I feel like the walls shouldn't be so decrepit inside, so I'm going to build a double layer of walls and work on the living room space. Put a nice little chair in the corner, add a photo, work on some note things, Put some weights there. The guy who lives here also loves green. I just thought I'd tell you that. Put a little painting up and then work on the bookshelves. On the bookshelves I'm going to put a globe. To do that I can use the GUI Terminal and then rotate it and move it exactly how I want it to be. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to add a little cat present, put some drawers in, and then put a security camera outside. Have a little green rug there with a little plant, make sure everything looks good, and then work on the next floor. This is going to be the kitchen and bathroom space. There's really tight space in the house. This little desk is going to be his computer terminal, little bookcase, computer on, put a present there, I'll change that with a printer, and then put a little Coke bottle and a little macchiato up there as well. Put a guitar in the corner and a nice green rug with a cat sleeping on it. That looks really good. Have a little window so you can see through to the living space, and there it is. Back on the second floor I'm going to add the stairs to the bedroom area and then work on the bathroom. This is going to be a tight squeeze for this bathroom, but I'm going to put the toilet in, then add a little simple light and dim it a little bit. I don't want it too bright. Pop the sink in and then put some tissues on the toilet. Add a little window so you can see out and then put the shower door in. Move it over a bit and pop in some shampoo. That looks really good. Add some detergent and a plant on the window, and then there's my finished bathroom. How cool is that? The guy who lives here is going to be very happy. Now for the kitchen space, I'm going to add a simple hob and put a fridge next to the door. Can't be next to the oven, can it? Here I'm going to add a coffee machine and a little blender. Now for the blender, I'm going to stick it at the edge and then move it in with the GUI tool like that. Pop some apples underneath, and then maybe some little food things, I don't know, wine, condiments. Then a little table for his cooking, add a little window port as well, and then stick in a carpet, move it over a little bit. Then add some herbs on the window growing nicely. Put in another little herb, change the size of it as well, and stick it near the window. Then I'm going to put in a little cake and a light. Once that's done, the kitchen's almost finished. Put a weird step thing underneath the table. I don't know, he maybe uses that sometimes. And then put some cereal boxes underneath. This kitchen looks really good. It's finished, but I have realised this house doesn't have sockets. So I'm going to put some sockets, they call them jacks, all over the house so you can use the power. Upstairs in the bedroom I'll put an AC unit, and then I'll work on the window spaces. There's going to be lots of windows in here because he needs the light. This bedroom space is fit for a king. Add a simple fluorescent bulb and put the green bed in. Remember, he loves green. Put one of those old style TVs in here, tilt it a bit, then have a look around the room. Check out what I want next. You know what? Sushi. Who doesn't want a bit of sushi next to their bed smelling of fish? Then I'm going to put some flowers next to the window, make it look nice and vibrant. Change the walls at this point because I think it should be wood paneling. Looks a bit crummy with all that concrete there. It's a little bit tricky to change it because there's not much space to work here, but I'm going to try my best not to disturb the bookcases and things. I think I destroyed a flower just then. Put another fern up next to the window and some books, and on this side I'm going to add a painting, a wheel, I don't know, some kind of weird ornament, and a Nintendo Switch. Put some snacks on the bed, that's always good, and then put some dirt up here. You know what, it's a little bit grimy, maybe add a cobweb as well. This is the finished bedroom with a little power jack as well. I think it looks excellent. Just remove those wood panels because I left one as an entity, it was a bit of a mistake. But that is my finished bedroom, and I think this looks an amazing place. I would like to sleep there, to be honest. What a lovely house. Now on to the next area. I'm going to build a little cake shop next to the restaurant. I want an obesogenic environment. Going to be plenty of cakes and foods around here. So this one's going to have some nice red blocks as side panels, and a simple, small, square shape. Nothing too big. It's all about being small and compact in this little street. Have a nice orange roof which goes against planning regulations but is still good. I think this cake shop's got a bit more money so they can afford to do this. Change those blocks to some weird tartan colour and then put some signage in front of the shop to make it look like a real cake shop. Add some windows to the front and the side. I might change those side windows. and put a sign at the front with a cake in it. That looks nice, nice and bright. Down the side of the alleyway, I'm going to put a fence and a little ice cream sign. I'm going to resize that to be a huge ice cream. Inside the cake shop, I'm going to add cakes, jams, a little table, carpet, a couple of paintings on the wall, and my finished cake shop is almost complete. Behind the cake shop, I'm going to build a little road with a park, a nice sakura tree, and a street lamp. I think this looks really good as a cake shop. Next to the cake shop, there's going to be an office complex. This is going to be two buildings connected together with a glass-style bridge. The roof's going to be a Japanese-style thing, and inside it's going to look all clean and sleek, marble with simple lights. Again, it's going to be cramped, it's going to have 2 floors, but it's going to be a massive office complex. Outside, I'll add some open windows and then start putting the signage up. I don't know what that says, it's not a particular language, but it looks good. It's like an office-style corporate thing, isn't it? Outside, I'll add some little plants and the space for an alleyway in between. So I'm going to put a little fish tank in a box, and then on the outside, I'm going to add a vending machine, make sure that's the correct size, and then work on the alleyway a little bit. It's going to have some graffiti in there. A sleeping cat, ripped signs and some flies. Then I'll connect the 2 buildings with some wires, you always need wires. And on this little alleyway, I'm going to add some trash cans and a small trolley. You know, why not, it's just there. Then I'm going to have some hanging baskets for the office, and then quickly add some street lamps. I want like maybe 3, just so it lights up the street of a night. Once that's finished, I think it looks really good so far. The street's nearly complete. I'm going to work on the inside of the offices. It's all going to be white and everybody's going to use laptops. I'll put in a few plants that match and a simple blue painting. It's the moon. The other side's going to be the same, but this one's upstairs. Plenty of laptops and some traffic light thing. And this is the boss's room. It's going to have more laptops, and the boss is going to have some kind of cash machine. Then I'll put a printer in, and that's pretty much my office complete. Outside behind the houses, I'm going to build a small street and add some lovely little lavenders next to the tree. That completes this area. I'm not going to add any more to this. Put a stop sign and then work on another house. This is going to be for a grandma, somebody who has less income than most, I assume so. And it's going to be fairly small, again very compact, and it'll fit in with the theme of the street. The roof's going to be a bit weird, slanted and kind of odd. And then there's going to be this weird stack thing. I don't know what that is. Inside I'll add some nice oak flooring. It's very compact in here and size is an issue. But downstairs I'm going to add a table and a chair, some drinks, some strange food. You know, this is like for a grandma, so it can't be too expensive. A cream-coloured rug and a couple of plants. Then I'll put up a painting, put some slippers in the corner, and then a cat present. I think it's like a little cat, but it looks like a present. Upstairs is where it gets difficult. I need to build a bathroom and a bed. Where am I going to do this? There's no space. The bathroom is very cramped with a toilet and sink. We can assume it's a wet room. I'm going to put in one of those sliding doors so she can have a shower, I guess. And then the bed doesn't fit, so I need to extend the house. This actually was really painful to do. But once it's done, it looks quite good. Then I'll slip the bed in so she's got to crawl over the bed to get into the shower. and then add some fine details. She likes records, so she can listen to records, and then put some flowers up, and a little painting of sunflowers. She likes sunflowers, the lady who lives here. Put some coffee cups, and that is her little tiny bedroom complete with shirt. I think it's good. Outside I'm going to add one more building. I have some space, and I'm going to build a fruit shop. So for that, I'm going to build an open fruit shop. You know, one of those grocery stores where you go and everything's just in the open? Put some wood panels and wood flooring, and then add some green umbrellas. Put some oriental style lanterns on there. And then put some cobwebs in the little alleyway. In the store it's going to be stacked with all kinds of things you can buy. You know, fruit, meat, shampoo. I'll put another cash registry here and then start piling all the boxes in. I want snacks, cereal, shampoo, all the things the residents have nearby. It's a little bit difficult to find the things and put them exactly where I want them, but it's good that I have the GUI tool to move them. Everything's going to be crammed into this store. The residents of my street have this store and only this store. There's no supermarket nearby, so they have to go here for their things. I think that looks pretty good for a store. Once it's complete, I'm going to add a few more wires in this little alleyway, and that's pretty much my street finished. Add some final details to the grocery store, and I think it looks good. Here's a shot at night. I'm quite happy with my efforts here. It does look impressive. Let me know what you think in the comments. You probably heard that it's been raining all day, but you know what? This is a rainy little town, and I really like it here. If you've liked this video, subscribe. I'm definitely going to be using Yuushya again. It's really powerful and I love it. There is one limitation with the modeling system, and it took me ages to figure this out. So let me explain. Some objects you can turn off and on, and other objects you can stack or change the size of things like these. That's really good, but there's one problem: I can't turn them into an entity. So what you have to do is you need an empty entity block, like this one. Then you need to select the object you want in your offhand, then use the GUI modeling tool and replace it with the block in your hand. It took me ages to figure this out. You can change the direction of the model, and then you can change its form as well. If you have a quick look here, it says Form 0 or Form 1. That means you change it from maybe on or off like the fan, or you can change the amount of packets on the crisps. Once you've figured that out, it becomes a very powerful mod, and I'm extremely hopeful for this in my next build. Let's take a tour of my street. Here's the first house. I think the design in here is really compact, but it's decent. The man who lives here is obviously very happy. And it's a small enough bathroom, but it's one of the biggest places in the street. If you go out the balcony, you can see the grocery store and overlook, cake shop over there. If we go upstairs, you can see his lovely little bedroom, which I think is really nice. I'd like to live here. And then as we go downstairs, I'm going to take a tour around the grocery store. It's very busy outside, and the grocery store has lots of goods. Now, if I'm feeling a bit peckish, I'll head to this restaurant and order some food. The kitchen is gross. And it's very busy in there, but it's much loved, you know? People go there every day. Now I fancy a cake. Let's have a look around here first. Well, I can go through the fence. I can see the back of the shop. Up there, look, there's a little bit of interesting stuff going on. And my little cozy coffee shop / cake shop, you know? I added that little cake stand as well. Inside the office, you can see lots and lots of work going on here. I think it looks good from the window as well. And here's that little overlook bridge thing. It's got a little fish tank to the side as well. This is the second office space, complete with printer and traffic sign. Let me just close those doors and move to little grandma's house. It looks quaint in here. I managed to resize the bed and put everything properly in her bathroom, and I think it looks quite neat. Her bed's decent. I mean, it's not ideal, is it? But it's a cheap house. Looks really nice in there. As I go round, you can see this little area is filled with trash and a bit of cobwebs, grass. Nothing going on there because I'm only building this street, and that's pretty much my first Yuushya build. Thanks for watching. I'm Ikkcicle, and I'll see you next time.